Hi, I'm Monique from Flourish Yoga, and today we're going to do a beautiful slow flow, focusing on our hips. So it's combining two things that you guys asked for, a hip flow, but also a slow one. So this is a really beautiful, relaxing one, great to do after a run, a walk, or a workout. So my hips and buttocks are quite sore after a workout a couple of days. So this is going to be exactly what my body needs. If you use yoga blocks normally, have some handy to help modify some of the poses. So we're going to start in child's pose. So with your big toes together, and we're going into wide child pose. So your knees out, reaching your arms forward and resting your forehead on the ground. If your head can't reach the ground, you can pop a block underneath your head. If your buttocks don't rest on your heels, you can pop a block underneath there. So just always listening to your body, never pushing it, just accepting where it is in this moment. Whatever it's capable of is perfect for you right now. So just letting your body sink into the ground. Whenever I come into child's pose, I just instantly feel calmness. It's my go-to pose when I'm feeling stressed or if I'm having trouble sleeping. It's a great one to come into just before bed. So we inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth. Just sighing it out. So inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh out through your mouth. So throughout the practice, with your breathing, just practicing inhaling through your nose and then exhaling through your nose. So just tune into your breath. Okay, we're going to lift our head. Taking the left arm, we're going to thread it under the right, lowering the left side of your face down for a child's pose twist. I absolutely love twist poses. I just find them so yummy. My body's always craving them. So if you have a spine injury or any big problem with your back, just avoid the twist poses. So bringing the left arm forwards, threading the right underneath, right side of your face down onto the mat. Then unthreading that one. Coming up onto your hands and knees. So wrists are under your shoulders, your knees are under your hips. We're just going to take some cat-cow flows to warm up our spine. So when we inhale, we open our heart, lift our gaze, and our navel draws down. Then we exhale, tuck our chin, lift out of our shoulders, and our navel draws to our spine. So inhale for cow, exhale for cat. Inhale, cow, exhale for cat. Coming back to a neutral spine, just take your hands a little bit further out in front, checking that your fingers are spread and you're trying to place the weight where your fingers join your palms, so you're not dumping it into your wrists. Then we're going to curl our toes, push up, pushing our hips up, coming into our first downward facing dog. So I want to wriggle around a little bit. Just working into the pose, so lifting one heel, then the other, and then just checking if your ribs are knitting together, your navel drawing to spine, so your shoulders are kind of broadening and drawing down away from your neck, and your spine's in a beautiful long line. If you can't get your heels to the ground, you can have a little bend in your knees and them lifted. What we really want here is a lovely long spine. So you're going to plant through your left foot and your hands and lift your right leg up, then bending it. And we're going to do some circles here. So you make sure your core is still on. We're wanting our shoulders to be even here, so not opening to the side. Just doing a few hip circles, then the other way. And then we're going to draw it into our chest. So really lifting out of your shoulders here. Point your toes, plant between your hands, lowering the back knee down. So coming to a low lunge. If you're finding it hard to get your hands on the floor, you can pop them on a block. So just feeling what's good for your body here. You can also bring your hands up onto your knee. So just checking that your hips are matching the front of the mat, not going to one side or the other. And our knees are not going over the front of our toes. So this is just really getting into your hip flexors here. Planting the left hand down, we're going to inhale, open up, look behind us. And then coming onto the outside blades of our foot for revolved Skadasana. Then we're going to inhale, lift our hips up, pushing through our hips. Exhale, cactus the arms. So inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Then coming back to the top of our mat. And we're going to step the back foot forward for our squat pose. Hey, Charlie. So bringing your hands to your heart in prayer pose, using your elbows, to open up your hips. If you can't get your feet flat down, again, this is where the blocks come in handy, and you can stick them under. You can also have your fingertips out in front of you. So just breathing here. And if you find this pose easy, don't just sink down into it. Have a little bit of a lift. Then planting your hands, stepping back to downward facing dog. Again, just taking some time to check your pose. So ribs knitting in, navel to spine. Shoulders broadening, but drawing down. Then we're going to plant through our right foot and our hands, lifting that left leg up, bending it and doing some beautiful hip circles. So really checking that you're powering down through that right foot and your hands and your core is on. That's what's going to keep you stable while you're doing your hip circles. So swapping direction if you haven't. Then drawing into your chest, lifting out of those shoulders, point your toes, putting your left foot between your hands, lowering that right knee down, and again, coming up to your knee or on blocks, whatever feels good for you. Just trying to open that chest as well, not hunching down, so opening it up. Gaze looking out in front of you. Then planting that right hand under your shoulder. Inhaling the left arm up, opening out to the back, looking behind you. And I forgot to say before, but you can stay here if the revolved Skandasana is a bit too intense for you. So then coming onto the outside blade of both feet. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower the outer right leg down, cactus the arms. So inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to the front of your mat, stepping that back foot forward for yogi squat. So again, modifying however is best for your body. So often we fall into the trap of comparing our lives and our bodies to others, but we're all different. And so on your mat, I don't want any comparison here, just listening to where you are at in your body. Okay, then planting your hands, stepping back to downward facing dog. Just checking in with how your body's feeling now that it's started to have a bit more movement. You might be feeling a bit more open. Downward dog might be feeling a bit nicer than before. If you want to take some little movements here, feel free to do that. Then we're going to take our left foot between our hands, then turning our toes to the side of the mat for wide-legged forward fold. So our toes are slightly turned in. You can have a bend in your knees here. I'm going to inhale, lengthen our spine. And then exhale, folding from our hips. Again, we want a beautiful long spine. You can have your hands on the mat under your shoulders. You might like to sway from side to side, but just really checking that your head is just hanging there. So you might like to nod yes, shake no, and just letting go. Then we're going to walk our hands to the back of the mat, turning your toes. And we're coming into Pigeon Pose. So we want our right foot just behind the left hand and our outer leg down. If this is a bit intense, you can bring your heel closer to your hip. If you're finding it hard to get your hips square, you can use a block and pop it under your right buttock to help you. Checking that that left leg is nice and straight out behind you. So if this feels good for you, you can stay here, or you might like to come down onto your forearms or resting your head on your arms. So this can be quite intense if your hips are really tight. So just coming back to your breath, helping that to just stay in this pose. So again, I didn't say before, but you should never have any pain. So there will always be a challenge, but if you feel any pain, please back out and modify for your body. Okay, then if you had your head resting on your arms, coming back up, I'm going to bring the left leg in so it's at a right angle. We're kind of more on our right hip, and we're going to do a bit of hip mobility. So keep your hands at your heart in prayer pose. and then we're going to lift our hips up and turn to the other side. Sorry, not our hips, lift our knees up. So lift our knees up, coming out into a bit of a weird, wide hip opener, and then twisting to the front of the mat. So trying to keep those knees and the legs at the right angle. So let's try again. So lifting up and back, lifting up and back. So if that's a bit too hard for you, don't worry, just have a go or skip that one. Then coming into Pigeon Pose on the other side. So just adjusting yourself. So now your left foot is just behind your right hand. Checking that right leg's nice and long out behind you. And again, staying here, use the block. Just choose what's good for your body. And focusing on those inhales and exhales. Okay, then coming back up, putting the weight on your left hip. I'm going to swing that right leg around, so keeping the left leg bent. The foot is on the inner right thigh. Just checking that your spine's nice and long. So we're going to inhale and then exhale, walk our hands forward. So you can have a slight bend in your knee here. Again, what we want is a lovely long spine, so no hunching of folding over. We're folding from our hips. So if you can only come to here, that is perfectly fine. Just listening to your body and what it needs. So with your inhales, you're going to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, sink a little deeper. So inhale and exhale. Walking your hands back up. So we're now going to open our hips a bit. So I'm opening out my left hip a bit. So now it's like a wider angle. I'm going to have my right hand on my right shin. Then I'm going to inhale my left arm up and reaching over. So I want my chest open. Don't want it hunching. Then I'm going to put my left hand just behind my left buttock, planting my right foot, using my right arm. I'm going to swing it around, lifting my hips and opening my chest. If this is too hard for you, you can skip this one and just do the revolved head to knee pose. So inhale, lifting and opening. Exhale down. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Then bringing your left foot over your right leg for sage pose. So we're going to inhale that right arm up, taking the right elbow to your left knee, using that left hand just behind you for a beautiful twist. So inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist, and just looking behind you. So this pose helps to massage your abdominal organs here. Releasing from your pose, extending that left leg out in front of you, bringing the right foot to the left inner thigh. Staying up nice and straight. Inhale And exhale, walking those hands out. So again, you can have that little bend. And just using your breath to work deeper into your pose. So wherever you are right now is perfect for you. It's exactly what your body needs today. Some days our bodies just feel stronger and or more flexible. And then other days we just need to take it easy. Walking those hands back up. So we're going to open our right leg out a little bit for a bigger angle. Left hand to the left shin. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, bending it over your head. Just checking that heart is open and getting a beautiful side stretch here. So you can stay here or placing that right hand behind your right buttock, planting that left foot. Then we're going to inhale, lift those hips up, sweep the arm behind you, open up your chest and smile. And exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Then taking your right foot over your left leg. Inhale your left arm up, left elbow to right thigh. Twisting and using those right fingertips behind you. So spine nice and long. And then looking over your shoulder. So head comes forward, releasing from that twist. Bringing the soles of your feet together for butterfly pose. So the further your feet are away from your body, the easier it is. The closer they are to your body, the harder. So taking hold of your feet, inhale, nice long spine, and activating your glutes here. So it helps to open up your hips. So never pushing your knees down to the ground. And if you want, you can fold here, bringing your head to your toes. Coming back up, planting your feet. I'm just going to move a bit further down because we're going to come onto our backs. So feet are hip width apart and we're going to lower down. So using our core. So lower, nice and slow, nice and slow, 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 all the way down. So keeping your feet hip width apart, just bring them a little closer so you could kind of just brush them. We're going to come into bridge pose, so lifting our hips up, making sure our knees don't splay out. We want them staying over our ankles. Taking our hands together underneath our body, then rolling up onto our shoulders. So knitting our ribs together, using our core, pushing it down through our heels and lifting our buttocks up. So our neck is nice and long here, we don't want to crunch it. And just breathing here. And slowly, slowly roll each vertebrae down, Release your hands. Taking your right ankle, coming onto your left thigh. You can stay here. Or if you want a bit more of a deeper stretch, taking your hands around your left shin. So this is Reclined Pigeon Pose. And I just find that it gets into different parts of your hip muscles that normal pigeon pose doesn't get into. So I just love doing both of them. Again, though, it is quite an intense stress on your hip muscles, so just focusing on that breath. So we also want to have our toes pointed here or flexed in this pose, and this helps to protect our knees. So then slowly lowering down the left foot, popping the right foot down and swapping over, so left ankle to right thigh, flexing those toes. And if you want the deeper option, taking your hands around your right shin. And I'm really feeling it right now. So just check in with your body and make sure that there's no pain here. So we also want our shoulders against the ground and our lower back pressing into the ground. So just checking that that's happening as well. Then releasing your right foot down, hug your knees in. Then we're going to take our knees out wide, arms inside our legs, taking hold of the outside of our feet, and then coming into happy baby pose. So our legs are kind of in a right angle. Feet are like they're walking on the ceiling, and just little rock side to side. So ensuring that your lower back is against the ground and those shoulders. If you want, you can like straighten one leg and then the other, just to get a bit more movement in whatever feels good for you. Then releasing, hug your arms around your body, draw your forehead to your knees and just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Release your head down, and then bringing your feet together and coming into reclined butterfly pose. So this is going to be our last pose for today. And if you want, you can pop yoga blocks underneath your knees, so kind of just like support your legs here. And just feeling your body sink into the ground. Hopefully your hips are feeling a lot more open, and that you're feeling calmer and relaxed, either ready for the day or getting ready for bed. So reclined butterfly pose here really helps to open up the groin muscles and your knee muscles as well. So you can stay here for as long as you like. Or if you're ready, just rolling onto your side. Slowly coming up to a seated position. Resting your hands on your knees, roll your shoulders back. Inhale, sweep your arms above your head, hands together in prayer pose. Touch touching your forehead for purity of thought, your lips for clarity of speech, and to your heart for kindness of heart. Have a beautiful day or night, and I hope you flow with me soon. Thank you.